You know, it seems, this whole process seems a lot smoother up here.
Yeah.
Is it different than downstairs? I don't know. I think this is a little better, quite frankly. Do you find that, Louise?
I like it in this room.
I like it better than down there. Hmm.
So will you tell us when we're actually?
We already know. Should I stop it?
No, that's fine.
It's 4:30. Just need to make sure everyone knows we're recording.
We'll give everybody a couple more minutes. We have John Ward, Christine, Eric Knowles, and Aaron on the phone.
Bear in mind, everybody, we're actually recording right now, so.
I'm here. This is Kevin.
Oh, thanks, Kevin.
So who's controlling the video and the recording?
This is Tracy. I'm here.
Nobody. We're winging it.
Right.
Megan, you're doing it right.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's doing a great job.
Megan is here in the room and Leanne and Matt, so. I think we're ready to go, guys and girls. Oh, Marty hasn't connected yet, but she will.
She's connected.
Well, welcome back, everyone. This is the monthly regular board meeting for the Tioga County Industrial Development Agency. It is Wednesday, January 6th, 2021 at 4:30 p.m. The meeting is hereby called to order. Christine, could you do a roll call, please?
Yes, Jen Ceccarelli.
Yep.
Kevin Gillette.
Yes.
Aaron Gowan.
Yes.
Tracy Manell.
Yes.
Martha Sabrai.
Yes.
Eric Knowles.
Yes.
John Ward.
Yes.
We have our guests, Christine Curtis, Megan Griffiths, Joe Mayer. Is Joe on the phone? No, where's Joe? Leanne Tinney is here. We have nobody for privilege of the floor this evening. I would ask if everyone has read through last month's meeting minutes, and I would seek a motion to approve the minutes.
This is Tracy. So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
Second. Yes.
Christine, you want to do a roll call vote?
Jen Ceccarelli.
Yes.
Kevin Gillette.
Yes.
Aaron Gowan.
Yes.
Tracy Manell.
Yes.
Martha Sabrai.
Yes.
Eric Knowles.
Yes.
John Ward.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to financials. Has everyone had a moment to review our financials? And Aaron, do you have any comments on that?
No, everything's fine, as near as I can tell.
Great. I will seek a motion to acknowledge the financials, please.
I'll make a motion, John.
Kevin.
Okay, roll call. Jen Ceccarelli.
Yes.
Kevin Gillette.
Yes.
Aaron Gowan.
Yes.
Tracy Manell.
Yes.
Martha Sabrai.
Yes.
Eric Knowles.
Yes.
John Ward.
Yes.
Next up is
Thank
Leanne Tinney with her economic development and planning update.
Hello, everybody. I'll make it quick. Southern Tier Network, I attended the Southern Tier Network board meeting. Southern Tier Network had arranged a meeting with Spectrum representatives so we could kind of talk about their plan for advancement. I attended that along with Doug Kameen. It's a pretty good meeting. As well, the executive summary of the study. The study has been completed, so we're just wrapping up, final stages of the executive summary, which I will be sharing with this board at our next meeting. Attended one municipal meeting, the town of Nichols, and responded to one lead from the state on a manufacturing project. As far as COVID, we are continuing our efforts with the Economic Recovery Advisory Council and implementing the strategic plan. Members of Team Tioga are leading those efforts, and everybody's doing a really great job continuing to move that forward. In the village of Owego, we have 18 DRI projects that are ongoing and moving forward. And we have 6 New York Main Street projects that are moving forward as well, working through environmental approvals on those 6 projects. Owego Gardens 2, Christine has on the agenda, but later, so I'll skip over that for now. Land bank, there is quite a lot of activity with the land bank right now. Teresa's preparing a summary of what's happening there, and I'd be glad to share that with you at the February meeting as well. Restore New York, the 2 projects, Owego and Waverly. Waverly's nearing completion. Owego is getting there. They ran into a few complications, but I think that we're working through that. So those projects hopefully wrapping up pretty soon. Housing still in conversation with home leasing, Ithaca Neighborhood Housing Services, and SEP on potential housing projects for somewhere within the county. Workforce, Brett's doing a great job in continuing to advance the relationship with the Boone Tioga Talent Task Force, as well as the Greater Binghamton Chamber. Workforce pipeline study is moving forward. There was an educators roundtable where we had representatives from all districts participating in that conversation. So that was really great. Had some valuable input there. Brett is working on writing a grant application to create a recruitment tool. It was identified that our businesses could use some help when they're looking to recruit people to the area. So far, we've received input from State Line Auto, Crown Cork and Teal, Tioga Downs, Lockheed Martin, Binghamton University, and Three Rivers Development, and helping us to put that plan together for the creation of that tool, which I think will be great. Something that our employers as well as our chamber and tourism office will be able to use. Becca's assisting with that effort as well. On ag, the annual ag district inclusion has commenced. So the press release went out on that. That's the opportunity for properties to be included in the ag district. They have that opportunity once a year. So that process has started. Megan attended new farmers market proposed project that we're pretty excited about, and she continues to work with the property owner there to advance that possibility. And the ag value chain study is ongoing. At this point, we have identified 13 potential grants opportunities. We have 6 grants that are pending right now. We're waiting to hear about. We have 18 grants that are active at this point, and we have completed 2 grants. That was the census count outreach, and also Village of Nichols, Village of Spencer, Nichols Park Historic Register was approved. So Abby spent quite a bit of time and effort on that, so we were pleased about that. You have, I believe Christine sent out to you some interesting information I just wanted to share with you all related to tax exempt property analysis. Our office had completed analysis on the villages within Tioga County that shows the not only the number of properties that are located within the villages that are tax exempt, but also percentages of assessed value and percentage of total property acreage and such. Some pretty interesting information that we just thought you might all be interested in taking a look at. So if any questions on any of that, please let me know. Also, I don't know if we shared it with you, or if I didn't, let me know and I'll get it out to you, but that Megan and Elaine worked on creating a solar map that gives an idea of the impact of solar projects on our agricultural properties. So if I didn't send it to me, just let me know. We'll get it out to you. That too is interesting. Solar in relation to our ag properties. That's it.
Thanks, Leanne. Any questions for Leanne? Okay, well, moving on, we have project updates now. Do you want Christine to cover these, or would you like to cover some? Leanne.
So, Christine, did you want me to talk about Amigo Gardens, or you want to talk about it?
Sure, I'll go first and then you can follow up with some of the DOH details, please. So just to let everybody know that the pilot closed in December. We did receive our $150,000 agency fee and the land purchase balance of $5,600. So both of those are paid in full. Leanne, if you would like to kind of go into detail about the DOH,
Yeah,
Suez.
Not yet have DOH approval on the water system. We have it now narrowed down to 2 outstanding items that have been requested from Suez as of today. They've not been received yet. I'll give them, another couple of days, and then that'll be another phone call to PSC. So I know it's a broken record, but we are getting closer to having that approval. Once we have that approval, the project will go out to bid. Fagan Engineers is not comfortable with putting it out to bid until we get Suez sign off on it. So once we do finally get that okay from Suez, if they're good with it, we're hoping by next week that will go out to bid, anticipating for that work to begin probably next week. Do you have somebody in the waiting room?
Yeah, I don't know who that is. Somebody put a,
Maybe it's Joe.
It might be Joe. Why don't you admit him and then ask who it is?
Yep.
Hello,
Oh,
This-
there-
no,
hello. I've been waiing to get into the annual meeting.
oh, no.
no.
Would you like to go through it again? Should we go through it again, please?
I'm just gonna let the memory stick there as to what it really was, okay?
Well, it's, your timing is perfect then, because we were just getting ready to talk about the developer agreements related to this, Owego Gardens 2 and Suez.
Okay,
So there are these developer agreements that Suez requires for a new construction project. And I asked Joe to take a look at them, which he did, and there will be 2 agreements that will be required. One will be having to do with the water main and the main that feeds the townhouses. And the other agreement will be having to do with the tank booster station, access road, water main, tank vaults, emergency generator, and a number of other things, basically the tank project. So Joe has reviewed them, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, Joe, but it seems that the IDA will be the appropriate signer on both agreements. And so what we would look for tonight would be authorization for any officer to sign the developer agreements with Suez for the Owego Gardens 2 project.
I would add this caveat that we haven't actually seen the final agreements yet. But I would expect them to mirror these with the exception of the actual numbers that would be put in.
So perhaps the motion then would be contingent upon final review by Joe Mayor.
Yes. Let's move forward with that. Joe, would you be agreeable to that?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion, John.
Thanks, John. How about a second?
Second, Tracy.
Thanks, Tracy. Christine?
Jen Ceccarelli,
Yes.
Kevin Gillette,
Yes.
Aaron Gowen,
Yes.
Tracy Manell,
Yes.
Martha Sabri,
Yes.
Eric Knowles,
Yes.
John Ward.
Yes.
Thank you.
So the only other thing I would add on Wego Gardens is that Home Leasing had anticipated they're starting on December 21st, but we had a little challenge today, given the level of snow we received, so their start has been delayed. I'm waiting to hear back on when they anticipate they will actually begin their part of the project. Of course, we'll have to coordinate our part of the project with that, but Jamie Genzel at Fagan is on top of that. So, and Jamie will be available once we receive the bids back, and he'll open and review and make recommendation, and will be available to the IDA to present and answer any questions you might have once we get to that point.
You guys put the field office trailer there.
You want?
There's a field office
Oh,
trailer.
they're getting ready then. Okay, good.
There. Yep. Good. It showed up last week. I noticed it.
That's all I have on Wego Gardens.
Christine, you want
Thanks,
to move?
Leanne. Yes. So we've received letters of support from Owego Appalachian School District, the town of Owego, and Tioga County, supporting a 5-year pilot to extend the Central New York Oil and Gas, aka Stagecoach Crestwood pilot, because it's affecting the tax cap limit for all the municipalities negatively. Leanne crafted a really great letter, sent it out to Crestwood today, explaining the situation and asking that they apply for this new pilot agreement. Leanne, did you want to add anything, or?
We talked about it previously, and I did finally get it out the door, and Joe reviewed it and he was okay with it. So I can forward it all to you if you'd like, but it's really just a rehash of what we've already talked about.
Okay, great. So moving on to, Leanne mentioned the solar maps and the exempt property data that was sent out. Again, the exempt property data is covering the villages only, so that's why it's not showing, the IDA-owned properties. They're outside the village, with the exception of the Newark Valley Depot. So just in case you question that, that's why. So moving on to the DRI update. If you recall, at the last meeting, Leanne spoke about updating the DRI project that IDA is administering. The board was agreeable to rolling the $290,000 in funding under our existing DRI multi-site project due to the upgrade of the Tioga facilities project. Also agreeable to administering the updated and smaller Tioga project, and considering a proposal from INHS for the remainder, roughly $220,000 in funds. So attached and emailed to you all is a letter to Housing Trust Fund Corporation from IDA. We'll be looking to have Marty sign on IDA's behalf. The letter is explaining to HTFC exactly that update to the DRI project, and asking them to give permission to the update. We also sent attached to that letter is the INHS project description, in summary, providing 46 new units of mixed income housing. And then also sent out detail on INHS, the Ithaca Neighborhood Housing Services, just to show you their qualifications and some of their history. So as long as that's still agreeable, we'll be asking Marty to sign that letter and send it out to get permission for this DRI update. If anybody has comments or questions.
You go ahead and move on, Christine.
Okay.
Do we need a motion on that?
I don't believe we do. Nope.
Because if you look at last month's meeting minutes, it was covered that the board was agreeable to it. So I don't think you need another motion on it.
Yeah. We were agreeable to the letter, and so here's the letter.
Okay.
Okay. Great. So moving on. to the railroad committee. So NICEAG contacted and advised there's a leaning pole that's kind of looking like it would eventually fall over the railroad tracks. I'll be obtaining quotes for removal and replacement. Those are the two options. So we'll share that with the railroad committee and come back with a recommendation as to what we'll do. The railroads advised that because they didn't put this pole in and they've never used it for operations, that it doesn't fall under their maintenance requirements. Joe's going to review that operating agreement and just confirm that it's IDA's liability to pay. And we'll bring that forward probably next month for a decision. The RJ Corman closing was on December 5th, and they've requested an updated consent and estoppel agreement that varies from the one we previously approved and executed. Joe, would you speak to that, please?
Yes, I reviewed it, and the only issue that I found, which I feel is significant, in our operating agreement, the operator, in this case RJ Corman, previously Steve May, is required to seek agency approval to transfer the agreement. And of course, using that leverage, we upped our revenues from the railroad going forward. This agreement provides, well, let me step back. What this is, they've obtained financing and they've leveraged their agreement, their operating agreement. They've given a collateral assignment of that. But what the bank is asking is that in the event of a foreclosure, they be allowed to transfer the operating agreement to a new operator without getting the agency's consent. So that's a significant change. And I would think you would want to review that, review the bona fides, if you will, of a new operator.
No question.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems like a no-brainer. You're the owner, but you don't get to discuss who the next operator is.
Yeah, I have no interest in signing anything like that.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll go back to Wilbur, and I pointed this up to him, and I received an email back, and I told him I was going to discuss it with the board tonight. He said, "Fine, get back to me," and he would be happy to go back to the bank with any suggested changes that we have. That doesn't mean they're going to agree to them, but we're under no obligation to agree to this ourselves. Obviously, you would want to be helpful in allowing RJ Corman to get financing, but you're giving up a major right that you have under the operating agreement. So he seemed amenable to discussing a change, so I'll go back to him after obviously not tonight, but tomorrow with regard to that issue. But again, I've already highlighted it for him.
Thank you, Joe.
So wait a minute. You're gonna go back to them. Do you need to email us the information of what you come up with?
Oh, yeah, I'll let you know where we finally go with it. Sure. They've sent us a proposed agreement. I got back to him and said, I've reviewed it. Here's a major issue I see. I'm going to discuss it with the board tonight, and I would get back with him. So I'll get back to him tomorrow. And I haven't drafted any language, but, it would be language along the line of they can't transfer it without our prior consent.
Right.
And at that point, we'll get back to you and tell you what we've agreed on.
And somebody will have to sign it. So.
Absolutely.
So the board needs to be able to say, okay.
Yeah, no question. No question. Again, I reviewed it. This is the only real issue I saw in the agreement. But it's a real issue. And
Right.
I pointed it up to him, and he said he'd be happy to go back to the bank with any changes or modifications that we require. Well, that's going to be what. Eventually, it's going to, assuming we reach some accord on it, it's going to come back to you for signature. But if we don't, they obviously might have a collateral interest in this security, but and basically most of what the agreement provides is things that you would want or understand, that let's say RJ Corman defaults on payment, they'd have a right to come in and make payment in order to avoid default. Or let's say they defaulted on their insurance requirements. When we give notice to Corman, we give notice to them, and they have the right to come in and cure any defaults. And all that's fine. You'd want to have that. But you also want to control who the next operator is if they end up foreclosing under that collateral assignment.
This must be a second layer of financing, or are they doing some of this stuff after the fact of the initial financing, or?
It's an after the, well, let me say that, is that John speaking?
Yeah.
Let me say this, John. You would, I'm not sure that the money isn't already out, but they're
Right.
just coming back and saying, we want this signed by the owner of the asset.
Yeah,
So I'm not sure there's new money flowing,
sure.
but presumably Corman has similar arrangements with this bank for their other facilities. But again, I'll bring it back to, assuming we get to a point where we can agree, it comes back to you. And if it doesn't, then they
Yeah, I got
don't.
a feeling the money's out the door already, so.
I think so too. I think so too. And it may just, John, it may just have been an issue that got forgotten at closing,
Sure.
and they're
Sure.
now coming back to repaper it. And again, I don't see any problem with them having the right to come back and cure any defaults, and to get
Mhm.
notice if there is a default, and we want that.
Sure.
Hey, they
Sure.
didn't pay, so look. And as you know, the bank comes in and pays taxes. The bank comes in and insures properties. It's the same thing. They want to protect their interest in this collateral security, but
Sure.
they don't have a right. Or we've always had the right to bless the new operator. We'd require that here. Does that make sense, everybody?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you, Joe.
Yep.
Thanks, Joe. So Best Buy's reported continued monthly sales tax exemption reports within the allowable limit. They think they've completed the project. Their agreement expired at the end of the year. They're doing one final review. Probably don't need to come back and request an extension, but they're looking into that. All the fire tax bills were distributed to the pilot companies and the railroad. The ag value chain and broadband study are continuing in progress. The town of Richford FEMA application that we submitted in December, FEMA actually came back with 3 days notice before the end of the year asking for a benefit cost analysis that they previously said we wouldn't need to prepare until next year, applying for a phase 2 application. So therefore, we'll just prepare that over the next year and submit in full at the end of next year, once again, looking to be awarded. So this raising of the railroad track in Richford is at least put on hold for a year without those grant funds being approved. The Monkey Run FEMA application is still pending. I reached out to them this week just to ask for a status update. The last I've heard from them was, a few months ago, saying it was still pending. So kind of pushing them to see where that stands. And we're still waiting for reimbursement on the VNS water sewer grant in the amount of $300,000. And that's all I have on the regular agenda for today.
So do we need to talk about Midwestern Pet Foods in open session, or should that be an executive?
That's right.
You can do it in open session.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Leanne.
I don't
So-
see a reason why it would be executive at this.
So we have received a pilot application from Midwestern Pet Foods. They've been working on a purchase of a second building in Waverly to expand their operations. So what we have asked Joe's office to prepare just for today is an inducement resolution acknowledging the receipt of that pilot application. So I'm seeking a motion to approve that resolution, please.
This is Tracy, so moved.
Second, Aaron.
Thank you. Roll call, Jen Ceccarelli,
Hey, Jen.
Did you hear me?
No?
now I can.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you. Kevin Gillette,
Yes.
Aaron Gowan,
Yes.
Tracy Manell,
Yes.
Martha Salbrai,
She's on mute.
You looking for Tracy? This is yes.
Yes.
thanks, Tracy. Thank you, Marty. Eric Knowles,
Yes.
John Ward,
Yes.
thank you.
So additionally,
Leanne,
yeah, I would ask that we go ahead and set the date for the public hearing. Our intent is to hopefully be able to have the board take a vote on the application at the February meeting. So if we could set the date for the public hearing, and I'm proposing Wednesday, January 20th. I don't know what time you'd like to do it, or if you know, Joe, we can do that by Zoom still, right?
Well, what would be preferable if you just have a motion authorizing the setting of a public hearing as
Okay.
opposed to nailing down the date? Then you lose all flexibility with the newspaper
Right.
and all that. And we'll work towards getting it set for the date you want, but
Okay. So looking for a motion then to authorize the setting of the public hearing.
So moved, Aaron.
Second, please.
Second, John.
Thank you, John. Christine?
Jen Ceccarelli,
Yes.
Kevin Gillette,
Yes.
Aaron Gowan,
Yes.
Tracy Manell,
Yes.
Martha Salbrai,
Yes.
Eric Knowles,
Yes.
John Ward.
Yes.
Great, thank you.
So I'm looking at January 20th unless there's a major objection to that, and I need an idea from you all what time of day you would like to do that.
Okay. Are you figuring on the yearly fee in this pilot?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the public hearing will have to take place in the town of Barton.
well, this will be a Zoom hearing, I assume,
Oh, we can do it by Zoom.
Yeah.
Still okay to do that?
until further notice, yeah.
Okay. Would that be the board's preference to do it by Zoom?
Yep.
I prefer morning.
I think actually you get a lot more participation. We had one last week and we had 50 people speak.
God.
And there were 90 people who virtually turned into the hearing. So,
This is Tracy, and I hope none of them show up to this meeting.
So what are we thinking? in time of day, I need an idea.
10?
And that's flexible correctly, and we don't need every member to attend. Is that the case?
That's correct.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
If you
Wanted
don't
to
want
let
anybody,
everyone know.
if you don't want anybody to attend, you do it first thing in the morning, but if you,
Well, we did have one person get on the hearing, and we had the hearing at 5 o'clock at night. And they said that was a very poor time to hold it because it made it impossible for most people to participate. This is the one where we had 90 people on, and we'd still be there if we held it midday, I guess.
You want to go with?
No, you would not be there because all those people would never show up.
Right. Well, I'll figure something out and I'll send you all out a meeting notice then.
Okay. Are we finished with the discussion on there? If so, I will entertain a motion to move to executive session.
So moved.
Thanks, Marty. How about a second?
Second.
Second, John.